SmackDown, February 2nd, 2024, the post-Royal Rumble edition, 9 weeks before WrestleMania 40, Philadelphia, with the dark cloud that hovers over WWE. From the Vincent Kennedy McMahon investigation to the removal of superstars like Brock Lesnar and the injuries that have taken out superstars like CM Punk, WWE had to bring their A-game tonight. This cannot wait another show to Monday night, and definitely not another week to next week's SmackDown. Tonight, they had to bring their A-game. It had to start to feel like WrestleMania season. Because up until this point tonight, WrestleMania season has imploded. From lawsuits to injuries to just poor creative. WrestleMania was no longer intriguing to most. Could tonight live up to the billing? The show just went off the air. BC's got goosebumps. The Rock closed the show face to face with Roman Reigns. I understand a lot of people will be crying about this. A lot of people will be upset. What about the story? He had to finish the story, BC. No. Unfortunately, this is what I was trying to tell you guys. The story ended when Cody was flat on his back next to a rubber chicken at WrestleMania 39. That's just the truth. I could have told you then. In fact, I did tell you then. In fact, I did tell you before WrestleMania 39. Many times. On many different podcasts. I told you Cody or bust. Because I knew this company would not revisit it in a year. And not just that, even if they did, it would not be the same. You'll never be able to recreate the moment that we had at WrestleMania 39. Cody versus Roman Reigns at 39 for that championship. That crowd, that's those once in a blue moon type crowds. You see it with Rock and Hogan, I believe WrestleMania 18, Warrior Hogan, WrestleMania 6. Once in a blue moon, you get a crowd like that, a night like that, an atmosphere like that, where you are basically riding at the tail end of a lightning bolt. You can't explain it. You don't know why. If you knew, you would recreate that recipe every single pay-per-view. But this company, nobody knows how to recreate that magic. But Cody and Roman had it last year. You'll never be able to get that back. The audible was called. They kept the championship on Roman. And for this entire year, they never really crossed paths. One time late last year, that was it. Cody never really talked about how much he has to get back to Mania against Roman for that title. The story was done. And to most of us, you're just kind of forcing it upon us now. Now we have to see the same match 2 years in a row just so we can get the moment that most of us felt we should have gotten last year. But we had to wait a whole year, 70 matches with the Judgment Day, just so the other half of the fans can be on board with Cody getting the title. Okay, we feel better now. We feel he's gone through enough struggle and adversity. It's okay to give Cody the title now. No, absolutely not. We didn't get our way a year ago. Fortunately, you're not going to get yours this year. The truth is, the better story has to prevail. You can finish a story just for the sake of finishing a story, or you can go with the better story. The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, versus his cousin, Roman Reigns, Joanna Y, is the best possible business you can do on the wrestling planet today. And it's going to happen in Philadelphia. Magic. Lightning in a bottle. Once in a lifetime. Legit. Not none of this John Cena Rock. Once in a lifetime. Which, by the way, became twice in a lifetime. But that's another story. The Rock versus Roman Reigns. If you can actually book that match, there's not a promoter on the planet that wouldn't book that match with a story that is sitting in their lap. Literal family. A dude that has put the family on his back. Jobs for a lifetime. We talked earlier. Tamina Snuka, 46 years old, basically retired, but still on the SmackDown roster collecting a paycheck. A job for life. Pays to be The Rock's cousin. Somebody as reckless and as bad as Nia Jax, but she gets rehired. Prime spots, good TV time. Pays. The Rock laid down the groundwork, paved the path for the entire family to eat well at that table. And while he's been gone from WWE, Joanna Y, Roman Reigns, is claiming that he is the true head of the table. Roman Reigns saying he's the tribal chief. He's the head provider. He sits at the head seat of that table until the actual tribal chief gets pissed off and comes back for what is his. The Rock has come back to end the charade that Roman has been on. To end this delusional roller coaster, the paranoia that Roman Reigns has tapped into. The Rock is going to end it once and for all at WrestleMania. This has been years in the making. This has been a story years in the making. And if you think that any promoter is going to put Cody Rhodes in there for the second year in a row to finish a damn personal story, when one of the biggest stories in all of pro wrestling is sitting right there in front of you, but we can't get that because we have to see the same match. Because some people felt Cody needed more struggle and adversity on an entire year ago. A lot happens in a year. No, most of us were never going to be on board with part 2 of Cody and Roman. And this is coming from a Cody supporter, by the way. I'm high on Roman's work as a heel, a huge Cody supporter, and I'll be the first to tell you nothing about part 2 intrigues me. Just so Cody can finally hoist up a title, say that he's finished a story. Michael Cole is screaming, he finished his story! And then we go off the air. Well, damn, thank goodness. We had to wait another 365 days, but long-term storytelling prevailed in the end. Thank goodness. Should have been done at 39. Because Rock and Roman doesn't even need a title. I get it. But you backed yourself into a corner when you let Roman keep that title and then go on a year-long vacation. So now everybody that cried, no, he shouldn't get it at Mania. He's got more struggle and adversity to tap. But we need to see more struggle from Cody, more adversity. We'll revisit this in a year. You guys gonna be okay with that? We said no. You said that's okay. You'll get on board. Well, now we're saying you don't like this Rock and Roman? No, we don't. Too bad. You'll get on board. Same thing that you told all of us. We're gonna volley it back to you guys now. Rock versus Roman is bigger and better business. Cody knows that. Cody did the deed tonight. You saw Cody Rhodes and Rock, Dwayne Johnson, giving him that speech in his ear. Be really cool if Cody discloses some of what was said. But you know The Rock is saying, dude, you're going to get your time. I promise you. I assure you, you're going to get your moment. I appreciate this big time. You know that was a hoorah speech. Cody really appreciated it. He had that smile to The Rock and the nod, smiling to the crowd as Cody went off into the sunset. It'll be Cody and Sethington Rollins now for that championship. But Cody did the deed. He knows this is just bigger business. Did Cody get screwed out of this? Yes, but not recently. Not from this match. Cody got screwed when he was looking up at the lights at WrestleMania 39 next to the rubber chicken. That then is where Cody got screwed. It's not this year. The way that everything turned around, the way that everything happened over the last several months, The Rock and Roman is the WrestleMania match. I don't care if there's a title on the line or not. That's the main event of WrestleMania. It just is. We know this factually because it trumps Cody and Roman Part 2. Rock Roman Part 1, the story of a lifetime for most of us, trumps Cody and Roman Part 2. But there's going to be people that don't understand that. And they're going to cry, and they're going to be pissed, and they're going to say, this is wrong. There was people that tried to stuff this match, Rock and Roman, at Elimination Chamber at 5 o'clock in the morning in Australia at a B-level event called Elimination Chamber. Do you guys realize that? There's people that tried to push Rock. They tried to push it aside. Like, oh, Cody's got to finish the story. We can get rid of the Rock and Roman match at Elimination Chamber. But that's a B-level event. Yeah, but they'll make it an A-level event. And Australia wants a big-time match. They would love to have the Rock. It'll be fine. But that's at 5 a.m. Yeah, that's all right. People have DVRs. They can always watch the replay when they get up in the morning. The Rock versus Roman, they honestly think should be watched on a replay or can be watched on DVR or a replay or on demand. Yeah. Thank goodness these people are not running an actual promotion. That's all I gotta say, bro. Thank goodness these individuals don't run a promotion. The Rock and Roman, push that onto 5 a.m. People can watch it over the next 7 days on Peacock On Demand. It's all right, 5 a.m., who cares? I mean, as long as we get Cody finishing the story at Mania, because half of the audience wants to see that conclusion. Well, guess what? The other half, we were done with the rubber chicken last year. Rock came back tonight. Can you tell? The entire cold open is on The Rock, but trust me, that's not everything that happened on this show. Bayley, Damage Control finally turning on Bayley. Bayley finally initiating the challenge to Io for the championship at Mania. It'll be Io. It'll be Bayley. Let's rock. Let's do this. Whip out the wallet. Take all the cards in it. I'm down. This is the match that needs to happen. Not Rhea, not Bayley. Makes no sense. The teasing of it didn't even make sense. But even worse is the fact that several months ago, we started to see some teasing of Damage Control turning on Bayley, and it was good. I'm like, keep this up. And after Rumble, because we all heard Bayley was the top betting favorite in Vegas, when she wins, it's perfectly set up for Io and Bayley. But what happened over the last several weeks is they became closer. Damage Control was like a sisterhood, right? That cannot be broken. And I started thinking, well, why are they tighter than ever before? Shouldn't now be the time you're planting the seeds of dissension, of tension, and derailment of this group? No. Monday night, they stood arm in arm like a well-oiled machine. And then tonight, out of nowhere, they just started all of this animosity within the group. All the girls are making fun of Bayley all of a sudden. They're talking about ending Bayley later in the night. I mean, where did that come from? Monday night, in the last several weeks, you were a cohesive unit. This is what I mean about it has to be continuous. It has to be a constant. There has to be a continuation of realism. Otherwise, it's hard to back the story. You started this several months ago perfectly. The last several weeks, it's almost like they didn't exactly know what to do. So they pretty much just got the group fully on track with one another, just in case they want to keep them together into WrestleMania. And then at the last second, they're like, no, we should go with the other idea, Io versus Bayley. So tonight, girls, just act like you can't stand Bayley. It was weird, because we didn't see that the last several weeks. Listen, sometimes beggars can't be choosers. You can look at how we got here and say WTF, or you can just say at least we got to where we need to be. Io versus Bayley. They fudged up the story to get here, but tonight was pretty well done. It was fun, and it sets up a lot of intrigue going forward over the next 9 weeks. We'll talk all about what Bayley said, how the turn happened tonight, and where we go from here. Bayley is no longer in Damage Control, taken out of the group, attacked and beaten down. But Bayley would have a lead pipe in her hands, in her possession. And that final visual of Io with the championship and Bayley with the pipe setting up Mania. We'll talk all about it. Tiffany Stratton, one of my favorite wrestlers on the planet, man. A huge Tiffy Time supporter. She has signed an official SmackDown contract. She had her first matchup tonight, televised on SmackDown. We'll talk all about it. I'm not happy with it. I'm not happy with the booking of it. I'll tell you exactly why. But that is not how you debut Tiffany Stratton. But again, it's one of those beggars can't be choosers situation. Tiffany Stratton is here, and she is only going to shine from here on out. We'll talk all about Tiffany Stratton. The commentary table is now set for SmackDown. It is a new commentary team. We'll talk about how they did tonight. We'll also talk... What else? There was another big story, was there not? what was the other big story? You had that. You had Logan Paul. Logan Paul's performance. That starts the show though. So maybe we should, then that's the cold open. What is that? 15-ish minutes? There's your cold open. I'm going to get a swig of coffee and we're going to review this show from start to finish, top to bottom, beginning to end. And it starts off with Logan Paul. I really like this first segment. I don't know why we're rekindling Kevin Owens and Logan, but it was so well done. I wasn't complaining at the end of it. I wouldn't have minded 5 more minutes of promo time between the two. Swig of coffee, we're going to talk this SmackDown. Show just went off the air. BC is fully amped. Let's do this. 2/2/24 SmackDown, 9 weeks before WrestleMania, the post-Rumble edition. Oh, there's a lot to talk about. Let's do it. So Corey Graves is now the play-by-play guy, and Wade Barrett will be doing color. Now, this is interesting. This is the first time Corey Graves will be play-by-play. Usually, he's the color commentator, right? He's the Jesse Ventura. He's in the role of Bobby Heenan. He's what Wade Barrett is, or Booker T over in NXT. But now Corey Graves has been appointed the play-by-play guy. Usually I say this is a fail waiting to happen, as much as I adore Booker T and Wade Barrett and so many others, even the Jesse Venturas, even Bobby Heenan. To appoint them as the lead play-by-play guy, the Gordon Soley, the Tony Schiavone, the Gorilla Monsoon, the Vincent Kennedy, the Jim Ross, the Michael Cole, it's not going to work. It's going to fail miserably. They're great at color commentary. That's what they're great at. They got the wisdom for it. They got the wits for it. The quick-witted comebacks. A lot of them play that heel side very well. The Bobby Heenans, the Jesse Venturas, even Corey Graves. They stick up for the heels. When there was some cheatery done and the play-by-play guy is calling out the cheatery and the heel commentator is like, I don't know what you're talking about. I dropped the contact when it happened. I didn't see anything. Corey Graves plays that perfectly. But if anybody can pull this off, the transition from color commentator to play-by-play, Corey Graves would actually be the guy. And tonight, I gotta tell you, for their first rodeo, Corey Graves, Wade Barrett, this could be a dynamic team going forward. I really enjoyed both of their work tonight. At no time did it take me away from what I was watching or listening to. And with Kevin Patrick and the Adnan Virks and the Jim Smiths and so many others, and in the last 5 years alone, the commentary takes me out of what I am viewing and listening to, and it's not a good thing. This is the soundtrack to this era, just like Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby Heenan was to so many in the past, just like Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler was to so many in the past. This is the soundtrack for a generation, and the last 5 to 10 years has been rough on commentary because all we've had is Michael Cole and a lot of moving parts around him. This could be something special. Night 1, I would say a raving success. Logan Paul starts the actual show on the microphone and he was on fire. He calls Kevin Owens a pissed off donut. Come on, man. He called Owens a pissed off donut because he lost the match at Rumble and he's still angry. So he called him a pissed off donut and BC just popped. I couldn't stop laughing. A pissed off donut. Then he makes fun of Rollins and Punk and their injuries. And literally, he's like, oh, my knee. Oh, my arm. Oh, I'm not going to be at WrestleMania. And he's like basically doing the fake cry. I mean, he's just unloading on everybody. So then KO finally does interrupt. And we get a funny back and forth. Kevin Owens says, and I quote, first thing I'm going to do when I win that title from you is have it sanitized. Because if you've seen the last several months, Logan Paul, a lot of pictures were taken of him doing a lot of weird things with the title. And I'm talking like just butt-ass naked, man. And whether that's tradition with a lot of wrestlers or not, I know a lot of wrestlers do not want to get the title right after they've seen that shit. So Kevin Owens is like, the first thing I'm going to do, sanitize that. Logan Paul then says, and I quote, first of all, you're too close to me and you smell really bad. KO responds, that's because I just showered in Prime before I came out here. Prime, of course, is the official energy drink of Logan Paul. So he says, I just bathed in Prime before I came out here. So then Paul responds, it must not have been the cherry flavor because cherry flavor is amazing. Come on, again, BC popped at that, bro. A lot of fun in this promo. And it's just so quick-witted back and forth. Both of them had a quick-witted comment jabbing right back, so at no time was it awkward. You smell really bad, back up. That's because I just bathed in your prime energy drink. Yeah, well, it must have not have been cherry flavor because cherry's amazing. It was great, bro. I mean, these two were just rocking. And this leads into KO defeating Austin Theory via pinfall with the assist of Brass Knucks. So it looks like they could insert this into Kevin Owens' arsenal. So we'll see. But this was all to set up an Austin Theory KO match. Nobody cared. I mean, when Austin Theory's music hit, the good news is they're not piping in boos anymore. Or at least last night they weren't. And I don't believe the last several weeks they've been piping in boos for Austin Theory. They have not been. That's the good news. The bad news, now it's absolutely crickets in that arena when Austin Theory is out there. So don't be shocked if they start piping in those boos again. But not how I would start the show wrestling-wise with Theory. But I think the whole mission here anyway was just to give KO a big W. Big, I use that in quotes. It's Austin Theory on SmackDown, but you get the point. He lost at the Royal Rumble. They wanted to give KO a televised W immediately after. Austin Theory was the sacrifice, no harm, no foul. And again, it wasn't the actual star of the show. That was Logan Paul. Just hyping him up, making sure everybody knows he's still the U.S. title holder. And I expect the show was too packed to even have LA Knight there. To even fit him in. But I guess they're going to go LA Knight versus Logan Paul at Mania. I think that's a consolation prize for LA Knight. I wouldn't even have him win a title at Mania. Put him in a badass storyline, keep him away from a mid-card title. He was going for that months ago before he even went for Roman's championship, and he lost that opportunity for the U.S. title. Then weeks later, he lost against Roman in that title, and now after all this time, he's right back to the mid-card title. I don't care if it's Mania or not. I'd rather see LA Knight away from it. AJ Styles and LA Knight. That could be very fun. Multi-month feud. Both can put a storyline on their back. We've seen that with Bray Wyatt and LA Knight. We've seen that with AJ Styles and 3,000 other individuals. Give me LA Knight, AJ Styles. You don't got to do that at the Chamber. You do that at Mania. No title on the line, just a badass story. But they really wanted to pump up Logan, and they wanted to give a W back to KO, and that's how we started the first half an hour of this show. Now, backstage, Naomi walks out of Nick Aldis' office with a signed SmackDown contract. Now, we put up 2 other uploads earlier today. This is a triple upload day on the channel. Big day on the channel. 2 huge uploads earlier. Thank you guys for the support on both of those. You guys showed up and showed out both uploads. Thousands of views apiece. Big time appreciation on the ups. And I'm glad that you guys were captivated by those uploads. And one of the big stories we talked about was Naomi exclusively signing with SmackDown. Well, here she is on TV coming out with that freshly signed contract. And she walks right out into, I believe, Shotzi. Maybe Bianca Belair was out there. Munchkin, Mia Yim. They were all outside of Nick Aldis' office when Naomi came out with that contract. And they were all pretty much celebrating. And then it happened. Out comes Tiffany Stratton. Toodles! NXT's Tiffany Stratton. You guys know I am just massive on this young lady. She is amazing. She is one of the best female wrestlers I've seen come along in a long time that has only been doing this for a couple of years. And she is just getting it better than most do in 10, 15, 20 years. She is so damn good. I can sit here for the next 5 hours and tell you about her, but you guys will learn a lot about her as time goes on. Tiffany Stratton comes out of the office as Naomi is celebrating with Shotzi and Bianca and Mia Yim, Munchkin. And Tiffany says, and I quote, excuse me, I'm the center of the universe, and I also signed an exclusive SmackDown contract. She literally said that, guys. It's hilarious. I can't do it justice, obviously. But if you know Tiffany in the way that she says her lines, she was so sincere when she was like, excuse me? Because everyone's celebrating and not even paying her attention. She's like, excuse me? I'm the center of the universe, and I also just signed a contract. Everyone's like, so? And Mia Yim is disrespectful, I guess, to Tiffany, or at least she thought she was. So Tiffany just smacks the meechin out of Mia Yim. I mean, so hard. I think one of her earrings may have been misplaced. Maybe wound up on her big right toe. I don't know, but it looked like an earring went flying. Tiffany laid into this smack, and this led to Mia Yim Munchkin versus Tiffany Stratton later in the night. I have a lot to say about that. I'll go over that when we get to hour 2. But this was so well done. Naomi officially signing that contract, big backstage moment for her. And then moments later, literally, Tiffany Stratton officially called up, officially signs with the Blue Brand. A massive backstage segment. 2 of my favorite females on the planet, Naomi and Tiffany Stratton. Yeah, BC was wilding out for that segment. We ended up going back to the ring. This was one of 2 Fatal 4-Way qualifiers for the men's tag titles. You're going to have one qualifier, Fatal 4-Way on SmackDown, which we got tonight. We'll discuss. And then there's going to be another Fatal 4 tag team match on Monday Night Raw. The winner of tonight's match will take on the winner of Raw's, and the winner of that match will be the number 1 contenders for Judgment Day, Balor and Priest tag titles. So for this match, we had LDF versus Pretty Deadly versus LWO versus the Micro Machines, PD Dunn and Tyler Bate. Dunn and Bate defeat Pretty Deadly via pinfall to advance. So my breakdown of this is simple. LWO and LDF don't lose much from this loss because they had a good little side beef that lasted the entirety of the match. So even though PD Dunn and Tyler Bate won this thing, LWO, LDF, none of them took the pinfall. And they were pretty much the highlight of this match because that beef has been ongoing. And it took precedent over the title situation. And you say, well, BC, shouldn't the titles be the be-all, end-all? Nothing should be more important. Yes, but certain circumstances call for a feud to take precedent. It just does. I mean, you could say that about Rock and Roman and so many other instances, actually. It's more than okay to have an actual feud take precedent over a title. If you're doing it correctly, we should have more of that. That's how you have top stars in matches that have nothing to do with a title. Time after time after time. Pay-per-view after pay-per-view after pay-per-view. You just get creative. And you book them in situations where the audience isn't even thinking about a title. It could be for months at a time because that feud is so damn good. Now, I don't know if we're going to hit those levels with LDF and LWO, but for this match, I can say that took precedent over any of them winning a title opportunity. The beef was that magnified. So they both lose nothing from this loss, LDF and LWO. Now, Pretty Deadly, on the other hand, Pretty Deadly is pretty finished. I mean, if you look, they've won 1 match out of their last 10. They've lost 7 in a row. Wins and losses are not everything, I get it. But when you're trying to tell the audience why they should at least care about you, if you're going to lose all your matches, which pretty much Pretty Deadly is, pretty much Pretty Deadly is losing every match, then you hope to at least have a story most of the time, right? Like there has to be some aspect that is keeping the audience engaged with you. Otherwise, you're just being paraded out there and taking L's all the time. That leaves the audience no reason to care about you. Pretty Deadly has no stories, no nothing. They're just running out there, taking L's, and then going to the back. So that's why I say Pretty Deadly's pretty finished, or at least on life support. Like, they have to really think about what they're doing with Pretty Deadly on this roster. Because 1 win out of 10, and they just debuted, guys, not long ago. I could see if they've been there for years and they're just on a down streak. They just debuted not long ago. 1 win out of 10, 7 straight losses televised. What are we doing? Got to be careful here, because if you dig the grave too deep, you're never going to be able to dig out of it. Interesting here, man. They're turning into L machines. But either way, to PD Dunn and to Tyler Bate, the Micro Machines. Congratulations. We'll see who they take on after Monday night's victors. And then I believe that would be Elimination Chamber, right? Or would they keep that all the way to Mania? I wouldn't be surprised, even though it's 2 days of WrestleMania, if they kept the tag titles off of WrestleMania completely. It's something this company would do. They always keep title matches off of certain shows, man, especially big ones. Hour 1 then ends with Asuka, Kairi, and Io backstage saying that tonight Bayley is done. But Bayley enters frame through another opening of a room, so she was overhearing it. She heard all of it as Kairi, Asuka, and Io walk away out of that room. Bayley is left there almost in tears. Like, what did I ever do to, why? So it was a really good finish to hour 1 that set us up for the second hour. Because hour 2 would start off with Bayley and Damage Control. Everybody minus Dakota Kai. You had Io out there, Asuka and Kairi standing behind Bayley during the promo, and they were pretty much just laughing at Bayley, giggling. Every time Bayley would say something like, "We are family," and this and that, Asuka and everybody would just start giggling. Yeah, we're family. Yeah, right. Again, guys, this would be so much better if we were doing this all along. A few months ago, they started this planting of the seeds like they were going to turn on Bayley, right? And then several weeks ago, they just stopped. And this week, more than any other, they've been more cohesive than ever before. And then tonight, just a switch was flipped. And all of a sudden, Damage Control can't stand Bayley again. Very odd how this turned hot and cold over the last 4 months. Anyway, at least we got here, and that's the biggest thing. So we should all be happy that at least we're getting to Io and Bayley. But how it was set up again, pretty beautifully done. Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis, for this segment anyway. Adam Pearce, Nick Aldis were in the ring awaiting Bayley's decision for WrestleMania. She mentions Rhea Ripley, but quickly turns her attention to Asuka, Io, and Kairi, who again are giggling behind her. She says, "You don't think I hear all the times that you're making fun of me?" She says, "Why? What did I ever do to you guys? We were supposed to do this together." Really hurt that they're making fun of her, and she knew it the whole time. She understood Japanese. She was talking some Japanese out there, and they were caught off guard, they didn't know she spoke Japanese, because usually Dakota is the buffer between them all, and Dakota wasn't out there. So Bayley shocked them, I knew every time you guys were making fun of me behind my back and in front of my face. So that was just so well done. And Damage Control then attacks Bayley because they know Bayley's about to do something challenge Io. So they're going to get to Bayley first. And it looked like they were planning on doing that anyway. Again, hour 1 ended with them saying tonight Bayley's done. So they attack Bayley, they do the deed. And then there's a subsequent beatdown on Bayley. But Bayley is able to grab a steel pipe from underneath the ring, almost knowing that this could happen. So she planted that pipe. She takes out that pipe, she takes out Kairi, she takes out Asuka, and Bayley then goes to strike Io with the pipe as Io holds her title up in the air as a shield. So it's twofold, right? Io's holding that title up as a shield to stop the pipe from hitting her. But it's symbolic, right? As that title is held up in the air as a shield, Bayley's looking at it, and it dawns on her. I know what I need to do. It's no longer even a question. She grabs the mic and she says, "Io, I will see you at WrestleMania." Big pop from the crowd. Bayley's face turn is now official. And we have the match that should be happening. Thank goodness. No teasing this Rhea Ripley Bayley crap. Much respect to Bayley, much respect to Rhea. That's not the match. It's Io, it's Bayley. That is obvious. Very strange way that this was rushed tonight after stopping the tension between the group weeks ago. But for some reason, they said tonight we're going to just spark it heavily and do the official heel turn or face turn if you're Bayley. We're going to do it all in one night. Listen, at least we got there. And the way that it was done, if you're going to rush it, this is probably the best way that you could have done it. So through it all, pretty damn good segment, and it got to what we needed. Io, Bayley. That was actually the first official match announced for WrestleMania. 9 weeks before the show, 2 nights. At least 16 matches are going to be on the main card. And we finally got the first match at the beginning of the second hour of the 2/2/24 SmackDown. Up next was Karrion Kross and Final Testament. They battled Lashley and the Street Profits. This was supposed to be a match, but instead they all just brawled, right? Like the referee could not maintain. Or I like this because there's no reason this should be the payoff. You know, you can build to this a lot more than just ending the payoff with this or having a match and then having a rematch next week or any elimination chamber. No, I like the way this was done. Schedule a match, but the animosity is so high that you couldn't even get the match in. And BFAB gets involved to even up the odds, by the way, even the numbers up, right? Final Testament has their female Scarlett Bordeaux, and she's shown she will get involved. So now Lashley and the Profits add in BFAB. So I don't know how you guys feel about that, but it does even up the numbers, and it does add another level of interest. No matter how small or big, it adds another layer to Lashley and the Profits and Final Testament. So I'm actually on board with this. I just hope that they know what they're doing going forward with these two clicks, because this could be something special for several weeks to come. But it has to be done properly. Jade Cargill then walks into Aldis's office. She's wearing this blue out. I mean, she's screaming blue brand. She's screaming SmackDown. She's looking good looking. Diesel. Jade Cargill's ready to whoop that ass, and she's conducting business backstage with Nick Aldis. It's those simplistic segments sometimes, man. But just seeing Jade Cargill and you listen to the pop from the crowd because they were seeing it up on that Tron. Pretty cool. And then it's Tiffy time. Tiffany Stratton versus Munchkin Mia Yim. Stratton defeats Munchkin via pinfall off the prettiest moonsault ever finisher. This was an 8-minute match. 3 of those 8 minutes were spent in commercial break. The other 5 minutes of the rest of the 5 minutes, the last 5 of the 5, that was pretty much just Mia Yim, Munchkin, beating up, handling Tiffany Stratton. How does that help a new superstar? This is why we have to have jobber matches back. Tiffany Stratton is pretty much debuting for a lot of eyeballs that have never seen her. A lot of these people don't watch NXT. A lot of them casual fans, either kids or families that got tickets to SmackDown. It's a nice night out for the family. Who's this? Oh, she's in NXT? All right, I don't know much about her. Let me check her out. And she just got handled the entire match. That's not how you highlight Tiffany Stratton. If you've ever seen a Tiffany Stratton match, you highlight her. She's got so many strengths to play off of. Instead, they said just go out there and get beat up by Mia the entire match, and at the end, deliver your moonsault. That was atrocious. Tiffany is so much better than that, and to showcase her like that is absolutely awful. For any older time fans, not old fans, but fans that have been watching 80s, 90s, right? I don't want to date you guys too much, but anybody, even if you are younger, but you went back and watched how wrestling was conducted late 80s, 90s, you had what was called a jobber match. You just had a local enhancement talent, or just straight up jobbers. Barry Horowitz, Brooklyn Brawler. People that just show up to lose. That's their job. Their main goal is to make the actual superstar look, feel, be badass. And that superstar for 2, 3, 4 minutes just beats and annihilates that jobber. Moves. I mean, this human being is just being thrown around like a rag doll, and the audience says, yup, that's a superstar. Tiffany Stratton should be in there with a damn jobber. Hand job Holly from the local bingo hall. She'll do it for a quarter of the pay. She'll do it just to get airtime. Hand job Holly. Just give her that call. She'll show up. And you have Tiffany Stratton show the world just some of what she's capable of. Just some of what's in her arsenal. Just some of that reasoning as to why they can invest and care about her. Instead, let's have her just get beat up by Mia an entire match, and at the very end, deliver a moonsault. Yeah, that's going to make the casual fans go, wow, I just saw Tiffany. What BC is saying is right. She's amazing. What did she do? Well, I mean, she got beat up the entire... But she delivered a moonsault at the end, and it was so beautiful. She stayed in the air for 8 hours, it seemed. I don't like this at all. This is why I wish jobber matches were back. There was no reason to put her in there with another superstar and just to get beat up as if she was the jobber the entire match. I am not happy at all with how creative debuted her, but I am more than thrilled with Tiffany and what is to come from Tiffany. One of my favorite female wrestlers on the planet, and a lot of you guys are going to see exactly why. In just 2 years, she is better than probably easily 85% of the females out there already. Oh, Tiffany Stratton, man. It's Tiffy time. And it's so cool that the world now gets to see it. Or, if I should say, HHH allows them to. Tiffy time, man. Toodles! Munchkin, either way, Mia Yim is hitting the showers with that L. Toodles! Tiffany Stratton, badass. And then Roman Reigns and the Bloodline is out next. This is one of Roman's greatest promos ever. Easily, guys. I mean it. This was one of Roman Reigns' greatest promos ever. He was just confident. I think he was really a little pissed off from Seth. I think Seth definitely goes a little rogue in his promos. He did with CM Punk. He does it with Roman. You know, I mean, he's keeping it within the realm, but going out of bounds a little bit. And I'm pretty sure he's not running across everybody he's talking about, like Punk or Roman. And that gets him in a little, sticky situation here and there. But I think it pissed Roman off a little bit because Roman had this little bit of an edge to him. And he was throwing some low-hanging fruit over to Sethington, but it was so well done. He says, guys, this is a quote, basically a bone to pick with Sethington. He says, and I quote, "My little brother Seth." Exactly. No pop. Bro, BC was rolling. He was expecting a little bit of a pop, maybe, right? Like because he mentioned Seth, and the crowd is now supposed to go, yeah, or maybe even the song. So he says, "My little brother Seth." There's no reaction. Roman says, exactly, no pop. Damn, bro. That's something I would expect from Jonathan Cena. But Roman? That was badass. That was lethal, bro. Then he says, and I quote, "Walking around for 2 years in your wife's clothes doesn't make you the man." I'll say that again. You call yourself the man, and that championship is the real man's title. It's the real workhorse title. He says, you're the man? You're the guy in the company? He says, walking around in your wife's clothes for 2 straight years doesn't make you the man. He says, and I quote, "They should call it the losers bracket title because I beat everyone going for that title." I thought that was so well done. He took everything Sethington said, that for a week everybody went, well, Seth has a point. He has so many points. Seth is right. Of course he is, right? The fans have been saying that for months. So of course, Seth just regurgitated everything the fans have been saying. But Roman twisted it all right backwards and pretty much he absolutely just annihilated everything Seth said. He said, didn't I beat everybody going for that title? So shouldn't that be called the losers bracket title? He mocks Seth's injuries, right? He says, let me ask you something. Does the workhorse champion, should he be walking around like this? And he starts limping around the ring. He says, you couldn't even hold up the division or the company as the man for even a year without your back being broke. The issue with Seth and his bad back. So he says you couldn't even handle the pressure of being the consolation prize champion, basically. I mean, Roman was just on all new levels last night. He was levels above. He says he wasn't done, guys. This is one of his greatest promos ever. He says, you talk about my schedule. Yeah, I work 10 times less than you, but I also make 10 times more than you. That got an oh damn from the crowd. So then he looks at the crowd and he says, let me ask you, would you rather Sethington money or would you rather Tribal Chief money? Roman Reigns was straight money tonight on this show. Cody Rhodes then hits the ring. Cody says, make no mistake, I want that title and I'm coming for that title. But it won't be WrestleMania. He says, I told you I've been talking to a lot of people, getting counsel from a lot of people, and one of those individuals knows you very well. If you smell, it's The Rock's theme music. The Rock is in, where were they? Alabama, maybe? I don't even know where they're, somewhere in the middle of the country, and here is The Rock in this town, this arena, absolutely rocked out. The roof probably came a little bit unhinged. They're probably going to have to start bolting and nailing that thing down starting immediately after everybody is out of that arena tonight, because I'm pretty sure that came a little bit unglued. Man, that pop. They did a close-up of The Rock's arm. Legit goosebumps. Music is banging out. Rock is on cloud nine. Cody Rhodes looks even in awe. And you just know, it's no longer about finishing a story. Now, it's about the story. Now. Sorry, Cody, can you move to the side a little bit? This is the big boy table. Now, it is The Rock versus Roman. Fuck the title. I don't care. It's Rock. It's Roman. It's Mania. Let's go. No words were spoken. Rock turns around after whispering a lot of words into Cody's ear, just telling him, dude, your time, everything's coming, dude, be patient. You're a big pillar of this company. You are going to rock it out, man. Thank you for letting us do this right now. And Cody's a gamer, man. He's going to play because he knows this is big mega business. And Cody takes off. He lets them have the ring. Rock slowly turns around. The crowd is on a whole nother level at this point, man. The atmosphere is electric. The tension, you could probably cut it with a knife. They start to inch their way closer to each other until they finally go face to face, crowd popping. It is a magical lightning bolt moment as we fade to black and go off the air. The crowd screaming, "This is awesome." And for the first time in a long time, I can say, yes, it is. SmackDown goes off the air 2/2/24. The Rock and Roman. Confirmed, actually, because as we were fading to black, a little banner went off on the bottom of the screen. A press conference this Thursday in Las Vegas. Press conference for WrestleMania. Massive. Rock versus Roman. They're really going to make this massive, as they should. Let's go. Again, hopefully people will get over it if they truly just needed this story to conclude at Mania. But that's why you should have been listening to BC all along, whether you wanted to or not, whether you like BC or you don't. I'm trying to tell you what is factually going to happen if Cody doesn't win the title last year, and he didn't. They called an audible. And I was right all along. I tried to tell you guys this. Things happen in a calendar year. You're never going to get that same feeling, that same moment. And sadly, guys, all it came down to this year is Cody just finishing the story became the only story. There was nothing else added to the story. There's no other layers to it. In 2 months, WrestleMania goes live, and Cody and Roman did nothing this entire year. It just became about Cody once again for the second year in a row finishing this damn story, which has become nauseating to so many of us by now. So let's not act like it's the same damn story from 39. At this point, it's an entirely new book. Rock and Roman. It's happening. If you ain't excited about that, I don't know what to tell you, brother. You want something entirely different from your wrestling, I hear you. Enough of these part-timers. This is Cody's time. This is what's crushing pro wrestling. No, what's crushing pro wrestling is people actually thinking that Rock versus Roman should be pushed at 5 o'clock in the morning at a Beeline PLE in Australia. 5 a.m. at a B-level pay-per-view event. Because Australia would really like a big match. That's what's crushing pro wrestling. The fact that you think it's okay to have most people on an early Saturday morning after working the entire Monday through Friday shift. A lot of people have to do a lot that weekend too because their wives, their girlfriends, their fiancés, their significant other has so much planned for the weekend. They're not going to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to catch the 5 o'clock in the morning PPV, PLE. So most people are going to have to watch this on a replay. And you think that's the best way to watch Rock and Roman. That's what's hurting pro wrestling. That entire thought process. It's The Rock and Roman, please. Kindly pull your head out of your asses and look at the business side of it. Look at what is more fun. Look at what has to happen because it's the bigger, better story. Because I'll tell you right now, there's no looking back. For most of us, we on that road to WrestleMania. And we are thrilled that is our main event. You either get on board with this road to WrestleMania or you get off on the highway now. That's the best I could tell you. Start hitching to another promotion, right? TNA puts on shows, AEW, local bingo hall. There's a lot of promotions. Maybe they'll give you a little bit more of what you want, right? I really hope the best for you. Truly. I hope you find what you're looking for in another promotion. Maybe they'll give you the matches that you really want to sink your teeth into. For BC, I'm old school. Just give me the best match at the best possible time on the grandest stage. Rock Roman? Yep, that does it. And we're getting it. Salute, unit. That's your SmackDown review 2224. Wow, so much to talk about tonight. It'll take me a while to really comprehend it all. Until next time, and there will be that next time. I will comprehend this over the weekend, and when we cut our next upload, hopefully I'll have a lot more in-depth to say about a lot of this. But again, the show just went off the air, and these are my raw thoughts on everything tonight. So hopefully you guys really got captivated by the upload. Hopefully you really were captivated by the review, and this was some thought-provoking conversation. Appreciate it big time. I believe it was, hold on, before we take off, I got to give some shout-outs to some super thankers, super chat, super thanks. And one of the two uploads, I put up 2 uploads earlier. And a few of you guys were just uber generous, man. So I appreciate that big time. Just have to see where exactly. I know Renee G was one. Renee G, a 10-spot, couple of coffees, saying thanks, BC. Renee, one of my tried and trues, with that gold card shining up right after her name. Renee, I appreciate you big time, tenfold. Hopefully you enjoyed today, or should I say, were captivated by a lot of what was on tonight's show, not just enjoyed it. Renee G, always good seeing you up in here. Thank you for the coffees. I appreciate it. Never needed, always appreciated. More than anything, seeing your name up in here, live streams or regular uploads. That's all I ask for. Renee G. And for some reason, I cannot get the full list of super thanks, super chatter. So if there was more, I will absolutely get to you guys. Big shout outs in the very next upload, whenever that is. To show that appreciation right back. That's it. Until next time, there will be that next time. Top guys, we are out. BC saying check you. Peace. Deuces. Ooses. Go long. Go. Super Bowl catch right here, man. Go at least 50 yards. You got to catch this. One hand. Try it one hand. Come on, man. Hail Mary. Make this special. Longer. Come on. I got an arm.